There we go. There we go. I completely did not realize that I did not unmute myself. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Riki Raceway for the first time since 2017 for the Maple Leaf 500. We haven't been here. Obviously, you already know exactly when's the last time we've been here. It's been since the inaugural season. And we are getting ready to go here for the third to last points paying race of the season. It couldn't get... It's not... I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but... It could not... This championship fight, I should say, ladies and gentlemen, could not get any closer. It is a 3-point difference between Kyle Craven and Russell Blaze. And even pretty much I'd say the top 5, top 6 are pretty close together in the point standings. So it's this championship fight, especially coming into tonight, has just gotten extremely interesting. So for those that don't know about Riki Raceway, as you see these drivers getting out and doing their qualifying laps, of course, with Martin Nixon at the top of the board with a 36.590, Gundilla with a 36.748, and then a 764 for Ajax Fitzgerald. They're currently the fastest 3 cars right now out on the racetrack. Riki Raceway is a 2.2 mile super speedway with its very narrow-ish sort of turn, similar to kind of how Daytona is. And then you get to this front straightaway with the tri-oval being as banked as it is. I would say this whole front stretch is banked about a good 18 degrees. And then heading into the corners, I'd say a good 31 degrees. Fitzgerald to the top with a 36.311. Nixon up to second with a 398. Then it's Gundillo, 476. Jordan Sumner, whom is returning for next year, along with Sebastian Vaughn, Moonstar Racing Enterprises. She is currently in fourth with a 608, a 712. Hold up, just a little change there. Nikki Fox to the top with a 36.192. And now Michael DeFeo currently is sitting on the outside looking in. Well, is currently sitting on the bubble spot. And Bobby McGuire here, who's in this group, is on the outside looking in. Just by 34 1/1000ths of a second. Martin Nixon going to call it a night. Well, not really going to call it a night, but going to go down pit road and just do a little bit of course, do a little bit of some checks here and there, and then before he comes back out on the racetrack. But nonetheless, with 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes into this session, you can already see the speeds. They're probably about, I'd say give it about 210 miles an hour. Give it a good 210 heading into turn number 3. Here's Josiah Munsell currently riding all by himself. Right now, Munsell currently sits dead last with a 39 or 37.429. So there are a few cars that are riding all by themselves. Here's Cornish. Gonna bring it on down pit road. Get ready to get some 4 fresh Goodyears on it. Maybe make some adjustments left and right here before they send it back out. Patikian up to 5th with a 339. Michael DeFeo, who is on the bubble spot, now finds himself 4th with a 329. And Jordan Sumner currently finding herself on the outside looking in currently. Well, sitting on the bubble spot right now, actually. And Ryan Gundilla is actually the driver on the outside looking in, man. but it is kind of close. I wouldn't say ridiculously close, but between Sumner and Gundillo and now Maguire. Hold up, more changes. As Gundillo now thrusts back into the top 6 with a 36.322. Remember, it is the top 6 drivers that make up the 42 car field for this race. And I'm kind of surprised that Gundillo has, or not Gundillo, but that Maguire, even though he has 2 other cars around him, he hasn't quite been able to have the same sort of luck of getting into the top 6 as has Gundillo and Fitzgerald. So Maguire's struggling just a little bit in that regard, but I wouldn't quite count out Bobby Maguire just yet, especially since he's got 2 of the fastest cars. 2 out of the 6 fastest cars right now that are currently inside of the top 6. He could definitely snag a drag off Joshua, snag a draft off of Joshua Cornish here in this 89 machine. He's going to do just that, but he can't really take it anywhere. Couldn't really get around the outside of the 89, and that didn't quite help him either. He's still 8th quickest with a 4:35 to his name. Still now the only 2 drivers that have yet to break in to that 36-second bracket. Of course, Crampton and Munsell. Travis Crampton, who wound up winning at Talladega earlier this year, back in May. Not had the best of luck in the world. If you remember just a few weeks ago at Watkins Glen, didn't have the best performances over there, but still, of course, I'd say a big win for Crampton is that he did manage to make the race, and he did have a drafting partner there for just a little bit in Kyler Sustry, but Sustry wounded up taking it to pit road. 10th quickest though for the 61 of Travis Crampton, a 36.718 for the number 61 machine. But now finds himself all alone yet again here in this knockout qualifying session here in Riki. Now Munsell has found himself a dancing partner in Janiah Hill and the number 7. Hill currently finds herself 12th with a 7:51. Oh, it looks like Munsell is going to take a peek to the inside, heading into turn number 3. I don't think that would be the best move right there if you are Josiah Munsell. I would personally focus more on drafting and trying to get yourself inside of the top 6. Which he does improve his time, but not by much. A 36.875 for Munsell. And now this gives Janiah Hill an opportunity. Possibly an opportunity to see if she can improve her time. Nope, she's going to do the exact same thing that Munsell just did the last lap around. And we'll see. Well, we'll see exactly what her time is going to look like. I'm going to cross the line. And not much of an improvement there. Still stuck at a 7:51. And right now, your top 6, as we're less than 5 minutes to go, coming to 4, looks like this. Of course, Nikki Fox, top of the board with a 36.192. That has remained untouched. A whole 1/10 of a second behind her. That would be Ajax Fitzgerald. Martin Nixon with a 292. Then a 298 for Joshua Cornish, so he now breaks into the top 6. Followed by Ryan Gundillo and Ray Atikian currently finds himself on the bubble spot, 3/1000ths of a second behind him. That's Jordan Sumner, who's on the outside looking in, along with Michael DeFeo. But obviously the tiebreaker between DeFeo and Sumner is just the few millionths of a second that NR 2003 does not take into account. Hold up a minute. Chase McClure has broken inside of the top 6 with a 36.202. That's 10 one-thousandths of a second off of the top pace. Coming across the stripe. And now to the top of the board. 36.116 for Chase McClure in the number 52. How about that time right there? That should definitely be enough to get McClure into this show for tonight. My, oh my. The 2, the 32, the 92, and the 2 currently occupying the top 4 out of the 6 spots. And now, I do believe Martin Nixon has now broken into the top 3 with a 275. Right now, Ryan Gundillo finds himself on the outside looking in currently at this particular moment. I'm still pretty shocked that McGuire has not been able to advance his time, especially because he's been in the right group. He's been getting the right amount of drafting. It just hasn't quite been translating across the stripe here. Let's see if it does right now. And it does! A 36.252. That time it worked with about coming up to 90 seconds remaining. Now Cornish is on the bubble spot with Ray Atikian on the outside looking in by 12 one-thousandths of a second. Just a little bit further back, this is the group that Atikian is with. So we'll see right here if Atikian is able to improve his time just enough. He does not. A 272 still for the 45. A 273 for Sumner. And a 280 for DeFeo still. Martin Nixon just jumped back up to 3rd with a 36.198. That kicks McGuire back to 4th, but still in pretty good condition nonetheless for the number 3 machine to make his way into the show. Teammate Janiah Hill, still 12th with a 36.375. Coming up on to 5 seconds to go. They're going to add some additional time, so that way these drivers have enough time to put down at least one more good lap time. Not for Bobby McGuire, though. He is going to bring it down pit road, and looks like he's going to call it a night when it comes to the session. Oh, right now it's a tie between Cornish and also Gundillo with the 260. Obviously, the tiebreaker does go to Gundillo for that 5th position. And it's not going to be enough time for anybody else from the 7th place on down to try to get inside of the top 6, because it is official. Chase McClure, Nikki Fox, Martin Nixon, Bobby McGuire, Ryan Gundillo, and Joshua Cornish will race in the Maple Leaf 500 later on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. But how about that? From 7th place on down, unfortunately, they will have to sit this one out and get ready for Phoenix next week. And I can't believe we are already we're going to be going to Phoenix next week. But nonetheless, though, big congratulations to McClure, Fox, Nixon, McGuire, Gundillo, and Cornish. They will make up your 42 car field for tonight. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it will be time for qualifying for the race 19 of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series, the Maple Leaf 500. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you want to watch a stream, you have to be ad-free because he gives you like 3 in an hour or minute. Please just do what he wants and he will give you the victory royale because he is very good at Fortnite. Not really, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is really good at Fortnite. Yeah, he is good at Fortnite.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This time it is for qualifying to set the starting lineup for the 2025 WRLA Pepsi Cup Series race number 19. The Maple Leaf 500, our 42 car field has just been set officially, and we are getting ready to... Our 42 car field is set, and we're getting ready to set the starting lineup for the 19th race of the season. We have 3 points paying races left, 5 races overall, because remember, after Homestead Miami, we'll be back on November the 11th. That is Veterans Day for the Coca-Cola 600. And then on Saturday, November 15th, we will be back at Pocono to make up the rest of the races that we wound up postponing and moving to the back end of the season. And this championship fight is getting very so close between Craven, Blaze. Man, there's a good list of drivers that are pretty close to each other in the point standings as we're looking at Emily Anderson here in this number 4. Currently has 2 wins to her name this season, and she is currently the all-time winningest driver in WRLA history, a 37.941 for Abby Walker, who has now found herself a dancing partner in Camp El Marsh. But as for Emily Anderson, currently a 38.617 to kick things off for her. But we come into this race, I mean, the points fight could not get any closer between Craven and Blaze. A 3-point difference between the both of them. Terry Walker is still in this fight. Skylar Taylor is still in this. Emily Anderson, to her own right, in the 5th position in the point standings. She still has a chance, and I would probably label Zachary Fitzwater and Roberto Crown Jr. long shots for this championship. So there is at least a good 5 to 6 drivers, maybe even 7, again, if you want to count Roberto Crown Jr., who have a mathematical shot of going for this championship. And this is actually pretty close, if I may say the least. I'd say this is the most exciting championship fight in all of WRLA Pepsi Cup Series competition, and I'm very much so looking forward to seeing what the outcome is going to look like when we get to Homestead, Miami on November 1st. That's in 2 weeks. Emily Anderson to the top with a 36.290. Followed by Campbell Marsh with a 480. Then it's Alex Bonsignor with a 345. Now it's Jerry Rose with a 455. And Nia Steidel, hold up, Steidel to the top of the board with a 36.232. Emily Anderson still in second. Then it's Ryan Little, Andrew Ramsey. Well, now Stephen Colon, then Andrew Ramsey. Man, these positions are just changing left and right early in the session. But holy cow, Nia Seidel to the top of the board with a 232 right now. It would be the top 24 that would make it onto the second round. And Tanner Parton, now Valkyrie Atikian, holds on to the bubble spot. Not anymore. Tanner Parton, yet again, holds on to the bubble spot with Valkyrie Atikian on the outside looking in. Now it's points leader Kyle Craven here in this number 28. But that most certainly is going to change when we get to the start-finish line this time by, as we're looking on with Kyle Craven and Zachary Taylor in the number 85. It's his birthday today. He just turned 29 years old. And now Craven, let's see where he stacks up. 14th right now. So he now is in a pretty good position to advance on to round number 2. The birthday boy, Zachary Taylor, currently 11th with a 36.308. So just outside of the top 10 as of right now. Abby Walker to the top of the board with a 36.007. That's the fastest time that we've definitely seen all night tonight. And I stand corrected. That has since then changed. Val Moscow to the top of the board with a 35.917. Diacomo with a 921, a 931 for Zachary Taylor, and 995 for Alexander. Oh no! We were just talking very well about these guys, and they wrecked going into turn 3. But no harm, no foul here, because these drivers, they will be able to race. They will keep their starting position. They don't have to go to backup cars. Well, they do go to backup cars, of course, but they will not have to forfeit their starting positions. Unlike in real life NASCAR or in some other NR leagues, you do not have to forfeit your qualifying position if you go to a backup car. Oh boy, look out. CG Hall leading Andrew Miller and Wayne Lopez. Definitely got a little bit blocked off there. And it looks like Moscow is going to come to pit road with all the damage that he has on his car. And Zachary Taylor with all that damage. I mean, look at the right side and even the rear end of his car. Just heavily crunched up and smashed in. Yeah, he's definitely right now a parachute, if I may say, for the 85 of Zachary Taylor. Not the way that he wanted to start off his birthday. I would definitely say that 85. Yep, there he goes. So Taylor's going to come on down pit road, grab a backup car, and come on back out at the racetrack. Now here's Nathan Stapleton in the 97. Stapleton has had some really good momentum as of late. Got a couple of top 5s and top 10s in the later stages of the season. Currently in this session finds himself 28th on the board. So not the best qualifying position as of right now, because remember, 25th on down is where everybody's going to be starting, as we see yet another car come on down pit road, that being Nathan Stapleton, of course. But nonetheless, should be pretty interesting to see if Stapleton's going to be able to work his way to the front of the field when the green flag drops tonight. Wayne Lopez currently holding onto the bubble spot, and 5/1000ths of a second back from him. Not anymore. Now it's Braden Perez holding onto the bubble spot with Lopez on the outside looking in. And now, it's now Terry Walker on the outside looking in with a 3:04, 3/1000ths of a second off of the pace that would actually set him inside of the top 24. Now it's Bobby McGuire currently on the outside looking in, as we've had numerous amount of changes inside of the top 24. So now we make that 5 drivers that have broken into that 35-second bracket. You can add Andrew Ramsey to that list. He now currently is 4th fastest with a 35.986. Lightstar Racing Co. is returning in 2026. So very happy to have them back on the WRLA train, if you will. And there's Russell Blaze, not just on the leaderboard, but also in this pack right here, currently runner-up in the point standings coming into tonight. He is separated from, he and Kyle Craven, again, are separated by 3 points. 3. That's how close this championship fight, especially when you look at it from the standpoint of 2 drivers, that's how close it is currently as of right now. In qualifying order, Blaze and Craven are in pretty good shape to move on to the next round. 35 seconds have been added, so that way these drivers can put down one more good lap. It looks like this pack right here is going to be able to get to the line just in time, but I'm pretty sure your top 24 will officially be set here. As we head into round number 2, Gundillo's going to get the final transfer spot by 1/1000th of a second over Ryan Little. So from Ryan Little on down to 42nd with Rogel Dorn, this is exactly where they'll be starting in the Maple Leaf 500 later on tonight. But your top 24 officially making it on to the second round of WRLA Pepsi Cup Series qualifying from here at Riki. Well, you're going to see them right here. It's Moscow, Parton, Diacomo, Taylor, Ramsey, Rowe, Walker, Fitzwater, Blaze, Marsh, Anderson, Cologne, Moore, Craven, Phillips, Rose, Crown, Atikian, Abel, Nixon, Whitlock, Cornish, Seidel, and Ryan Gundillo. That is your top 24 that will move on into the second round. And from 25th on down, that is where they'll be starting for the Maple Leaf 500 later on tonight. So when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be round 2 of WRLA Pepsi Cup Series qualifying from the Riki Raceway. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you want to watch a stream, you have to be ad-free because he gives you like 3 in an hour or minute, please. Just do what he wants and he will give you the victory royale because he is very good at Fortnite. Not really, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is really good at Fortnite. Yeah, he is good at Fortnite.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, this time for round number 2 of qualifying here in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. There were 24, so everybody from 25th on down, well, they're sitting on the sidelines. They have now earned their starting positions, and everybody else from the top 24 on up, well, they get to see who is going to make the top 12. And those 12 drivers will be going for the pole for the Maple Leaf 500. And there's one of the fastest cars as of right now coming up all by himself. That would be Val Moscow in the number 33. Do apologize there, had a little bit of a phlegm buildup. Definitely love some of those, but in the meantime, though, as for Moscow, here in this number 33, he is an NRLA McDonald's Cup Series winner. He won at Vegas last year. But this year, he has not been able to win a WRLA Pepsi Cup Series race, though. But he does, I personally would say, as for Moscow, he's had some moments under the sun. I do believe, if I remember correctly, he finished second at Indianapolis to Emily Anderson earlier in the year, over the summer. Now here we are at the Riki Raceway with a possible chance of maybe winning this race to try to finish out the season strong here, finish out his rookie season strong. I'd say the same thing for Russell Blaze here in this number 69. He already has a win to his Pepsi Cup Series resume that came at Nashville earlier in the year. And he's been very, very strong this whole entire season. And I would definitely say he's had himself an amazing rookie campaign. I'd say the same thing for Durrani Racing. Durrani Racing has had themselves an amazing rookie campaign as a team altogether, with all 3 of their cars going to victory lane. In numerical order, funny enough, of course, it was the 0-4 of Quentin Moore, who finally nabbed his first Pepsi Cup Series win after 8 years. That span with a WRLA career that spanned over 8 years when it comes to how many seasons WRLA has done within the 8 years. Of course, 2017, 2020, 2023. Now here we are again in 2025, and we're nearing a completion, our first ever completion of WRLA Pepsi Cup competition. Of course, Quentin Moore again wound up going to victory lane earlier in the year at Fontana, then Russell Blaze at Nashville, and then back in August, it was Rogel Dorn, who went to victory lane at Darlington. And Blaze to the top with a 36.425. And the driver currently, well, as these drivers are going to keep getting filed out, Claire Phillips currently holds on to that transfer position. Now it's Bruno Diacomo with Crown on the outside looking in. But those times are just going to keep on changing as more drivers add their names to the board. So far, we only have 3, now 2, now 1. and that being Quentin Moore in the 04 machine. See, now where's Quentin? He's still sitting in the pits, or has he not come out yet? Oh, there he is. There's Quentin Moore. So now Moore, drafting with Ryan Gundillo, currently finds himself 24th with a 38.366. So things not looking the best right now, at least for Quentin Moore. But I mean, we're halfway through the session, so running out of time. If he wants to put himself inside of the top 12, a 36.903 for him. But as for Aaron Abel, a 36.254, as he's drafting with this group of cars, that contains Alexander Rowe and Roberto Crown Jr. Aaron Abel has not had himself the best of seasons whatsoever here in this Safe Light Chevy. The team will be back. Racing Motorsports will be returning next year, but they're coming in with brand new colors and a new manufacturer. Toyota will be the primary manufacturer for Racing Motorsports. And the team, the cars themselves will definitely sport brand new paint schemes, and those will definitely get unveiled once we get to the off season. So now the 25, that would be Stephen Colon to the top of the board with a 36.120, followed by Cornish with a 161. 3 wide over here between Atikian, Walker, and Anderson. How about that? Walker Family Motorsports up top, Trinity River Racing in the middle, and Elijah Gordon Incorporated on the bottom. Steidel, as of right now, holds on to the transfer position to get inside of the final round. Not anymore. It is now Andrew Ramsey as Steidel improves her time. A 36.289. That puts her 9th on the board. Points leader Kyle Craven with a 3.14. So now it is Zachary Taylor, whom right now is on the bubble spot with Andrew Ramsey on the outside looking in. Coming up with 3 minutes to go here in this session. I think Blaze might have just improved his time a little bit, or maybe that might have been Bruno Diacomo. Improved it by just a little bit, but 7th, 8th, and 9th, or 6th, 7th, and 8th, are separated by 1/1000th of a second from each other as of right now. So that's actually pretty interesting, to say the least. But as for Nia Steidel here in this number 6, still drafting with these cars over here. Giacomo, Fitzy, and as well as the 9 of Reagan Whitlock with Tanner Parton. Still sitting 9th on the board with a 289. So far, not really a whole lot of changes here inside of the top 10. I wouldn't say as much inside of the top 12 currently as of right now. 3/1000ths of a second is the difference between Taylor and Ramsey. As you see, Giacomo and also the 98 of Fitzy bringing him on down to pit road. Giacomo, who won at Watkins Glen just 2 weeks ago, managed to take it away from Russell Blaze, who was en route for his 2nd win of the season and was also on his way to taking the points lead because if Blaze had won Watkins Glen, that would have secured the points lead for him. Not by much, but it would have secured the points lead. However, because that he was not able to secure the 10 bonus points for winning the race, along with the traditional 40 bonus points just for finishing in first, that put Kyle Craven in the catbird seat when he finished third at Watkins Glen just 2 weeks ago. So now that is exactly how and why we're in the point situation that we currently are in, with Craven and Blaze being separated by 3 points, as now we have 30 seconds remaining on the additional time. And we have not had any ounce of actually, wait a minute, hold up. Hold up. It looks like here Tanner Parton has broken in to the top 12, a 36-163. So Zachary Taylor has just been bumped out of the top 12. Nia Steidel, I think a few other drivers might have gotten bumped out, and Nia Steidel got put onto the bubble spot, and she just barely is going to hang on to make it to the final round. So she, along with Ramsey, Blaze, Craven, Cologne, Cornish, Parton, Whitlock, Fitzy, Moscow, Abel, and Bruno Diacomo, a major change inside of the top 12, but they will be fighting for the pole in the final round coming up very shortly. As for Rose, Crown, Taylor, Rowe, Marsh, Nixon, Walker, Phillips, Anderson, Gondillo, Atikin, and Quentin Moore, that is exactly where they will be starting here for the Maple Leaf 500. But man, oh man, qualifying here, I mean, the times, they get pretty close to each other. And sometimes they do, of course, also put together some really, really crazy, absolutely insane times, to say the least. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be time to figure out who will be starting where inside of the top 12, but more importantly, who is going to be starting on the pole for the Maple Leaf 500. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back in just a few minutes after this short break.
If you want to watch a stream, you have to be ad-free because he gives you like 3 in an hour or minute. Please just do what he wants and he will give you the victory royale because he is very good at Fortnite. Not really, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is really good at Fortnite. Yeah, he is good at Fortnite.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it's time to figure out who will be starting on the pole for the Maple Leaf 500 in WRLA's return to the Riki Raceway. And then there were 12. Steidel, Craven. You also have Stephen Colon in there. There's Ramsey. There's Diacomo. All these drivers currently getting on pit road and getting ready to go here for this session. 1 minute is getting ready to pass them on by. 45 seconds have already passed by on the clock. All 12 drivers are now on the track. And the first one making a move, that's Andrew Ramsey. Russell Blaze is following. You also have Whitlock, Abel making their moves out on the racetrack. And these two are actually coming out together. So, pretty good chance that we could see these two work together. And we might see one of those two cars on the pole, or at least on the front row for this race. Ramsey was the first one out on the racetrack. However, the downside to this all is that he was by himself. Blaze is currently by himself as of right now. So the two drivers that would be in the best spots in the house, that's these two right here, Reagan Whitlock and Aaron Abel, as now these two are on the clock. There's Kyle Craven, our points leader, in the number 28. And look who his potential drafting partner could be. Yep, that's right. Who better than the guy you're competing against for the championship, who is just 3 points behind you, that being Russell Blaze in the 69. If these two could get linked up, man, that would be something. 38, 110 for Whitlock and a 119 for Aaron Abel to start things out, as we're a quarter of the way done here with round number 3, our final round of qualifying. Let's figure out who will be starting on the pole for this Maple Leaf 500, our return to the Riki Raceway for the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. Ramsey to the top of 37,571. Craven to the top, Whitlock to second with a 222. Abel to third with a 242. And Craven using the draft to his absolute advantage, staying on the back bumper, or at least staying within the slipstream of the number 69. And it looks like these two are going to be drafting partners for a little while. First and second have linked up. And they are currently, well, they were first and second in that exact order for just about a couple seconds, but Aaron Abel and also Reagan Whitlock have decided to break up that for the moment. Bruno Diacomo to the top with a 36,585 that is currently coming from this group over here, with Cornish, Moscow, and Parton that are also included in this little bundle. Coming across the stripe this time around. Doesn't look like any other changes within these four. Nia Steidel riding all by herself. Currently a 37,366. She's the fastest of the cars running by themselves as of right now. There's Fitzy in the number 98. Dead last in this group with a 450. And then there's Steven Colon in the 25. So those drivers are kind of just riding by themselves as of at this particular moment. But Bruno Giacomo, who won at Watkins Glen just 2 weeks ago, if the times kind of stay exactly how they are, he's going to be starting exactly where he left off at just 2 weeks ago. After winning at the Glen, of course, he'd be starting on the pole here for Riki. Moscow still second with a 3:39, then Cornish with a 3:43, and Parton with a 4:36. Then it's Kyle Craven with a 5:96. Then currently sixth right now, that is Aaron Abel with a 36.701. Whitlock with a 7:38. Blaze eighth with a 7:70. And then Zachary Fitzwater, now the fastest of the drivers that broke into the 37-second bracket, with a 363 and then a 366 for the number 6 of Nia Steidl. So she currently is holding on to a top 10 starting position at this particular moment. Hold on a second. I'm going to get me a good old drink of water here because a little bit of a cruddy throat. Coming up on 3 minutes to go here in this qualifying session overall. And so far, there really haven't been any other changes when it comes to the pole position as of right now. Giacomo still holding on to the top of the charts. Moscow has pulled his car into the pits. So now that just leaves Cornish and Parton in this little group right here. Aaron Abel bringing his car into the pits. Andrew Ramsey coming back out. So he's going to possibly have himself a dancing partner, that being with Steven Colon as he comes out just barely in front of him. But now that actually is probably going to be some good news for Andrew Ramsey and even Steven Colon, because now these two can work together and try to get themselves inside of the top 10 here. We got 2 minutes left here in this qualifying session. Nia Steidl, I do believe, has yet to find herself a dancing partner, and she's going to have one in Val Moscow in the 33. So now it might be a matter of time before we see the number 6 further up inside of the top 10. I like this move right here. Let Val Moscow go on by and try to tuck in behind him, so that way you can get a good enough draft, maybe especially down the back straightaway for sure, but just stay right in that little slipstream behind the number 33. Coming up on it this time by. Let's see what her time is going to be. She got back inside of the top 10. A 37.308 for Seidel. 1 minute to go. As Joshua Cornish actually is broken inside of the front row with a 36.333. That knocks Val Moscow back to the third position. So coming back around this time by. Little improvement there. 36.936 there for Seidel. Still holding on to that top 10 spot. Andrew Ramsey with a 3.42. So now he's inside of the top 10. And first and second in the point standings have been trading spots faster than they've been trading Pokemon cards, or in Blaze's case, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So less than 30 seconds to go. Now 20 seconds remaining, so that way these drivers can put down one more lap. It probably, more than definitely, is not going to be enough with 10 seconds to go. A miracle would have had to have come at this point, but that's not going to be the case. So, your pole sitter for the Maple Leaf 500, that is going to be Bruno Giacomo. He's going to be starting exactly where he left off. After winning at Watkins Glen just 2 weeks ago, he'll be leading the field with a green flag here at the Riki Raceway. Cornish is going to line up alongside. Then it's going to be Moscow and Parton in row 2. Kyle Craven and Aaron Abel will make up the third row. Then it's Whitlock and Blaze making up row 4. And row number 5, that will be Nia Steidel and Andrew Ramsey. They will make up your top 10. And then, of course, Stephen Colon and Zachary Fitzwater, in the opposite order, that is. They will be making up row number 6. But that is your top 12 for tonight's race here at the Riki Raceway. But guys, thank you so much for watching qualifying from here at the Riki Raceway. And man, this championship fight has just, I mean, of course, it's just gotten interesting, but it's more than certainly going to be even more interesting after tonight. Be sure to catch the race number 19 of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series from here at the Riki Raceway. That's going to be streamed live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Twitch. The full race replay will be premiering possibly the very next day, or within the string of, actually, no, it is definitely going to be premiering the very next day right here on the WRLA YouTube channel. But nonetheless, one more time, congratulations to Bruno Giacomo on starting for the pole position. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and sign on off. But we'll be back again tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. So be sure to catch the race over there. We also have 11 o'clock and then Cards Against Humanity over on the main YouTube channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, which is going to be on YouTube as well. But anyways, have yourselves a fantastic day, everybody. And we'll see you all tonight on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern.